What's good, folks? You already know what it is. Yo, 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 you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy Dspill, and you are tuning in to another episode of Outlawed Opinions. Boy, oh boy, has it been a week. For those that don't know, I definitely dropped some content recently about the passing from gun violence of Charlie Kirk. And we will definitely get into that and things of that nature. But it has been quite a week. It hasn't been such a great week for certain people, and it's been a pretty decent week for certain people, depending on what kind of content you've been consuming and what you've been doing with your time. Now, before we get all the way into the Charlie Kirk stuff, I felt the need when I put the video out. I felt the need to explain to people, not just black folks, but people, that we should be very careful when certain things happen, like the passing of Charlie Kirk. And we need to be careful with the way people are gloating and laughing and things of that nature, because as a member of the black community, when somebody that we care about and love is taken from us way too soon by violence, we are very hurt, we grieve, and then when people make a mockery of it, we get upset and we get violent. Now, it doesn't mean that black people are the only people that get violent. That just simply means that's just an emotional reaction, just like there's a lot of Caucasian people getting upset and getting violent in the name of defending Charlie Kirk's legacy. So I just simply put a video out trying to basically talk to the people, explain to the people that, hey, we have to be careful and responsible with how we conduct ourselves when people are grieving. And that went for both sides. That went for left, right, black, or white. But after that video, I've been just looking, paying attention, sitting on the sidelines, seeing what people are saying. And it's a very interesting time that we are living in. And it hasn't started now. It's been going on, but it just gets more and more and more interesting with how people are taking things, with how people are expressing things, and things of that nature. But I was compelled to share a video from a young white woman with a message to black conservatives or black people that like to align themselves with Caucasian people. And I thought it was a very interesting message, and I will share this video, and you guys let me know what you think in the comments at any point while you're watching. Okay? So let's get into this video really quick.
Hi, I'm Kylie, and I wanted to get on here and say that just because you're a person of color and you side with conservative white people does not make them like you anymore. As someone who grew up in a conservative white area, I can tell you pretty confidently that there are only 4 reasons that most white people have a friend of color. Number 1 is so that they can say that they aren't racist, and they can tokenize you and say that you're one of the good ones while also giving themselves some sort of social credit. Number 2, they like to have people around that they feel that they are smarter or better than in some way. They almost see their friends of color as sort of sidekicks when they're the main character. I think it's disrespectful to put somebody into that role and not recognize their own individuality. Number 3, they keep you around to make fun of you or say things behind your back. And again, the whole tokenizing, look, oh, he doesn't act, insert race here, which probably results in more comparison between you and other in-group members. And number 4, just to have somebody around. Please don't fall into this trap of thinking that just because you say the things that they want and you hang out with them, that they will ever fully include you. Because most racists will never see you on the same level as them because they feel they are superior. Just a bad situation to be in.
These photos that I decided to pull up of Anton Daniels, Officer Tatum, the Hodge twins, and Candace Owens, actually in a photo with Charlie Kirk, working on some content. These 4 individuals, or should I say, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5 individuals, if you count the twins, are very, very, very go hard Black conservatives. I think the Hodge twins are mixed, so they kind of straddle the fence with those conversations. But I brought them up because, if I'm not mistaken, Officer Tatum is really, really, really getting that work right now from, I believe, a lot of white conservatives. I haven't dived too much into that, but I've just been seeing some rumblings going around. But anyways, and it's not just them. I mean, even Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit has also shared his take. And here's the thing with me. Where I see this stuff, honestly, where I see this stuff is I see it in a place where all of these individuals have made content, and all of these individuals have taken the time to definitely drag, in some way or some form, try to mention or drag Black folks into this situation. And here's the unfortunate thing. The unfortunate thing is, no matter what goes on in this country and what goes on in this climate, we have people that find ways and reasons to include Black people in crime, even when Black people is nowhere in proximity of the crime. And I think that's a big part of the problem when we talk about race and prejudice and things of that nature. Now, don't get me wrong. I did say in the video that I put out before that I don't believe in making fun of people when they pass away. However, that goes for both sides. That wasn't just for Charlie Kirk. That goes for all the folks that made fun of Trayvon Martin, that made fun of George Floyd, Eric Gardner, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, right here in Sacramento, Stephon Clark, all of these different areas. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that video was for. But as I dive deeper into more content involving Mr. Charlie Kirk, there's just certain things that I can't help but to acknowledge, right? And with that woman putting that PSA out there, now I believe that these individuals that were on the screen understand and know that it's like that. But I think what I'm starting to learn, being here in the YouTube space, is that there are a lot of Black folks that are conservative, which there's nothing wrong with you being a conservative or a Democrat. I don't claim either set. I don't claim either gang. I just wonder, when you guys critique Black folks the way that you guys do, when you guys come down with an iron fist on Black people, when you guys have that conviction and that passion, right? Have you been showing that same energy, right? Have you been showing that same energy to the individual that actually took the life of Mr. Charlie Kirk? And I only say that, I only express that, and I say that because it's a very unfortunate situation. This man right here, Tyler Robinson. Everybody knows by now at this point, but I can't get over the fact that there's been so many clips, so much content about how violent Black people are. And Black people are inferior, we're violent, we're DEIs, we're all of the above. But this is the real villain, people. Black conservatives, white supremacists, whoever you are, that is the bad guy. And I just can't help but to understand how this thug, this terrible individual, is not getting the energy that the George Floyds got, right? That some of the Black Democrats get. What's going on? I would like to know. But I'm not done. I'm not done before I really, really, really go in the way I want to go in. I'm not done. I'm not done. Okay. I have more content for you guys that I think is very important for you guys to see. And we are going to get into it tonight. Yes, we are. Or today, whatever too that you're watching this content on. So let's go for it. Let's go and let's see some of the most infamous words of Charlie Kirk himself.
Charlie Kirk has no problem putting his true beliefs about anyone who isn't a white, rabid conservative like him on full display.
You're gonna remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. See a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman. I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? Thomas Sowell and Justice Clarence Thomas are far better black role models to celebrate than Martin Luther King, period. End of story. This guy is not worthy of a national holiday. He is not worthy of godlike status. In fact, I think it's really harmful.
Just a quick pause. He was talking about Dr. Martin Luther King, I believe, in that clip about not deserving a national holiday. Let's carry on.
You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52. I'm going to trust the Lord. I know what we're saying is true. I was disappointed because I said, listen, guys, you could hate what I'm doing. You could criticize it. I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live what I believe. No. What do I do?
Now, what made it interesting about him using that derogatory word was that he used an example in one of his debates that I seen about, I believe it was Harvard, about how there were black students that were testing. Their test scores were like, their ACTs were 300 less than a lot of the Asian kids that were applying, and they were still getting in while Asian kids weren't getting in. Or I'm sorry, Asian students weren't getting in, but yet, he uses this harmful term towards someone in the crowd regarding their nationality and how he addresses them. But let's keep going.
Charlie Kirk has no problem putting his true beliefs about anyone who isn't a white, rabid conservative like him on full display.
You're gonna remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. See a black pilot, you.
Now, here's where I wanted to go with this. Looks like this video is getting a little funky, but it's all right. Here's my thing. Don't mind the words on the screen. Here's my thing. I'll cover it up, right? For these 4 individuals, I don't know if they'll see my content. I don't really care if they do, if they acknowledge it. I just want to know. I would love to know. Anton, Officer Tatum, Hodge twins, Candace Owens. Those comments that he made were specifically for African American people, right? And he stood 10 toes down on how he felt. I want to know. I would love to know. If you guys don't even acknowledge me, just acknowledge this. I would love to know what these 5 individuals think about those comments he made. Now, it's easy to make content and say, no matter what anybody says, freedom of speech, nobody should be harmed because of their views and the things that they speak. Okay, fine. That's the perspective here in America. But we know in other countries, they don't play that. You can't just say what you want. You can't just be disrespectful. It ain't no freedom of speech in other countries. Okay? But forget all that. I would love to know how you individuals feel about those comments. You guys are all black from what we can see. I would love to know what you guys think about some of the things that Charlie thought about y'all/us. Just curious. Candace, do you agree with the fact that all of your success came from DEI? Because that's pretty much what Charlie said. Anton, Officer Tatum, Hodge twins. In his eyes, you guys are incompetent, inept, if you will, to operate and be successful. What do you guys think about that? I'm just curious because I know that a lot of these type of content creators, they make a lot of money and they get a lot of following off of really, really taking it to the black community and the black culture about their behavior, our behavior, the buffoonery and all of the negative things in the black community that we display. So I'm just curious, just curious, just very, very, very curious to know.
Hi, I'm Kylie,
what
and I
you
wanted to get on here
guys-
and say that just because you're a person of color.
and with this woman right here has also shared. I'm very curious to know what you guys think. Now, black folks, I already know for those of y'all that's in the culture, those of y'all that's in the community, I already know what y'all thinking. I already know how y'all feeling about everything. I don't need to ask. I don't. But here's my thoughts and what I think about Mr. Charlie Kirk. And here are some things that I've learned. I did not know that Charlie Kirk did not graduate college, yet he was allowed access to debate college students, which a lot of them were very, very, a lot of the debates he was winning because a lot of them lacked a lot of knowledge and history and education on this country and the black community, which that's not entirely their fault. But yeah, he was mopping the floor with a lot of college students that didn't know their stuff. But I did not know he wasn't a college graduate. I only say that just because of the irony, honestly. But what I wanted to say and what I wanted to share is that I don't agree, again, with people celebrating somebody's demise. However, I do agree with people sharing how they felt about an individual, regardless if they're here or not. He got to express how he felt about people that were not here, like George Floyd, Dr. Martin Luther King, and the list goes on. Just find the content and you'll see it. So I do definitely agree with people sharing their thoughts and their feelings and their sentiment on his time that he spent here with all of us before it was cut so short. Now that I got that out the way, I'm just trying to figure out, as far as the Mr. Shooter right here, where is why is there so much more outrage still on black people? Okay, fine. Some black folks are online. Tariq Nasheed is online, and let's keep it real. Tariq Nasheed has some things to say on X, and here's the facts. He said nothing but facts, regardless if you want to agree with it or not. Just like sometimes Charlie Kirk said some things that were facts and we didn't like it. Tariq Nasheed said some facts about Charlie Kirk's situation and people didn't like it. However, I'm trying to understand. Has anybody heard of this Tyler Robinson's family getting threats, or his friends getting threats, his close ones getting threats? How is it that this person right here is the person that took Charlie away from you guys? And I see more aggression and anger towards people that made comments about Charlie opposing his views than having energy for old Tyler right here. I don't understand that. That's very strange to me. Very, very, very strange. But let's move it along. We got to move it along, okay? We got to move it along. All right. So I also wanted to share this, and this will probably give more of an understanding of why I was like, why are black folks being dragged into it? Because certain people, certain races, certain prejudiced people, they have a way of finding a way to bring us into some stuff that ain't got nothing to do with us. So let's see what this is right here. If I can, let's do this. Yes.
We don't feel like ourselves. We haven't felt like ourselves in a while. And I'm sorry to get political, but I'm just going to be honest. We haven't felt like ourselves since.
Now hold on. Let's
I just think
let me get this right. Let me get this right, y'all. My apologies. There we are. All right, let's move me over here. Y'all see me? Now this is Megyn Kelly. Y'all know. If y'all don't know, y'all finna know. This is what Megyn Kelly's conclusion about everything.
We don't feel like ourselves. We haven't felt like ourselves in a while. And I'm sorry to get political, but I'm just going to be honest. We haven't felt like ourselves since Barack Obama. I just think he was such a slick snake. You know, he was this affable guy who was like wearing good suits and looked the part and sounded the part and dressed the part, but was so divisive in his messaging. The left.
He was so divisive that he actually gave more protection and more rights to LGBTQ situations in the community more than African Americans. But he was divisive. Okay.
They look at you like when you say this, they don't know what you're talking about. It's like, because you don't pay attention to the other half of the country. You only pay attention to your absurd news sources, which spin and spin and spin to protect Democrats, especially if they're named Obama. He's the one who started to inject race where no one had been doing it. He's the one who started.
That's very interesting that the only black president who is biracial is single-handedly responsible for injecting the race conversation in this country. Now, by Megyn Kelly's statement, it's clear that she has no understanding of the history of America as far as in slavery and Jim Crow and the Civil Rights Act. But that's very, very interesting. But this is an example of how no matter what we could be doing, we could be barbecuing and drinking beers and watching the game, and we still get drugged into the BS. Interesting. Let's keep going.
To use his pen and the phone to shove things down our throat that we didn't want. He's the one who shoved through an entitlement on our health care and our personal doctor visits that he promised he wouldn't mess with, and then he did, really hurting people, causing massive anger and open lies.
Massive anger and open. That's a first. Massive anger and open lies.
He never missed an opportunity to twist the knife on the racial issue. He would do it subtly and in his own way, but it was very clear what he was doing. For the first time, we had a president who weighed in on legal cases before they'd played out. We never did that. That was a taboo that had never been crossed before him. And Donald Trump was the reason Barack Obama, reverse that. Barack Obama was the reason Donald Trump came about, that he was born as a political figure. They say Trump's divisive. He was the antidote. He was the answer to the divisiveness of Barack.
We're hearing this, right? Everybody's hearing this because if I'm not mistaken, I was around for Barack Obama's terms and Donald Trump's first and now his second. And if I'm not mistaken, I've seen Donald Trump talk about race a whole lot more than Mr. Obama. But let's keep going.
Barack Obama. And we just haven't felt like ourselves for years now.
I thought that was really cute. The whole we haven't felt like ourselves because I wonder who she's talking about when she says ourselves. That's very it's very interesting. And the reason why I say that that's interesting is because depending on what nationality or what race you are, yourself is different than someone else. So what do you mean ourselves, you know? How many of your black friends said that they were feeling different, if you have any, Megyn Kelly? This whole thing has so many people upset and going all over the place. Obviously, this happens when certain things meet national headlines. And that's just what it is. Some people look at Charlie Kirk as a hero. Some people look at Charlie Kirk as a white supremacist. But the truth is, Charlie Kirk was a man. He was a father. He was a husband. And he was not crazy about black people or the black community. I don't care how many photos he has with Candace Owens, because we know where she's aligned. But those are the facts. And for those out there that have an expectation for those that he criticized and those that he offended with such hurtful words, to have empathy, which he did not believe in, is very, very confusing, but yet interesting. Because those same individuals, I highly doubt ever acknowledged anybody that was important to the Black community when they were gunned down or they were taken from our community so fast. Again, I don't think you should celebrate when somebody loses their life the way that Charlie Kirk lost his life, but you don't get to dictate or determine how people speak on Charlie Kirk's legacy, just like we can't speak or tell you how to react or feel about people in the Black community. Unfortunately, people are making this a political thing and they're trying to mask it as a political thing. This is a straight racial thing. This is Black conservatives that are aligned with white conservatives against pro-Black people that are aligned with or share the same sentiments as Democrats. That's all it is. And here's the crazy part. I agree with a lot of things that conservatives believe. And I agree with certain things that Democrats believe. That's why I can't pick a side, because I see flaws on both sides and I agree with both sides when it comes to certain conversations and issues. But for you guys that are loyal to one side, is it really worth it to be loyal 100% in on one side just because you don't like the other side? I mean, Democrats and Republicans are just a corporate version of Bloods and Crips, if you ask me. I mean, even all the way down to the color and the hatred and the violence that comes with it. That's all I'm saying. So with that being said, I wanted to share those thoughts. I also wanted to share my viewpoint. I was trying to find the clip, but I wasn't trying to go through nobody's hour and a half live. But Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit had a lot of words for Tariq Nasheed. And I thought that was interesting only because, you know, he was saying, you know, you lack empathy and you're, you know, he actually called him like some form of a primate, like an ape or something like that, which is very, very derogatory to Black people. But I thought it was very interesting for Myron Gaines to open his mouth about the facts that Tariq Nasheed shared. He tweeted some facts. I don't have them up. I'm not going to do all the little stickers and stuff that you've been seeing. But Tariq Nasheed just basically made a statement that was true. He said a lot of Charlie Kirk's rhetoric and a lot of things that he talked about how violent the Black community was and gang violence and things of that nature. And he ended up getting gunned down in Utah by a white person, which that is ironic. Now, we've heard the term since the 90s, Black on Black crime. But that right there is white on white crime. This is why we don't need labels for every damn thing. We don't. It's just crime. If a Black person does it to a white person, if a white person does it to a Black person, if a Black person does it to a Black person, if a white person does it to a white person, it's just crime. It is illegal. The color of it doesn't change the magnitude of it. Now, that's the truth. Now, of course, the color of it does change the magnitude of it when it comes to court, when it comes to sentences. We see it all day. But that's a conversation that nobody wants to have either. But this is a scenario that has nothing to do with Black people, but because Black people have something to say about it, we're going to just highlight Black people and say it's this and it's Obama and all these other things. This is why this country will never move forward when it comes to the race issue. It won't. It's been over 400 years since slavery. It's been over 60 years since civil rights and Jim Crow and everything else. And we still find a reason. We still find a reason. We still do. Now, I would like to shift gears for a minute. And I would like to talk about something that I think is not the only news, but very, 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 very crazy, if you ask me. So let me get into this. Is it this part one? Now, this video that I'm about to share with you guys is a police officer, a Black female police officer. I ain't gonna lie, Charlie Kirk probably would have had a field day with this. But it is a Black female police officer that has some fatal attraction issues regarding not letting go of a situation. Apparently, this woman was I guess she was dealing with a divorce. Okay. And while she was dealing with the divorce, she was dealing with another man. And the man didn't want to be with her anymore. And because of that, she apparently tried to frame him like he was doing something wrong to try to take his life at the police station. Now, the video, when I first seen it, it was confusing because of the things that were being said. But the more that I listened and I read, I started to understand more of the context. But I felt like I wanted to cover this because I felt like this was very, 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 very troubling. All right. So let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Come here.
Cream, stop!
No.
I'm yours.
No,
You can fuck me right. You can fuck me right now.
I can fuck you right
Help!
now. I can fuck you right now.
Yes.
Show me.
Okay.
Show me. Prove
Let's
it to me.
go.
Prove it to me.
Let's go.
Take your hand off the gun.
This is
will.
Take your hand off the
But
gun.
body
you
cam
have
footage.
to pull my pants down.
Okay, take your hand off the
Stop.
gun. Take your hand off the gun.
Basically, she's making it about a sexual thing, and he's it's almost like he's trying to play like it's all good so he can get the gun away from her. Obviously, she had a gun. She's a cop. Now, I'm gonna try to fast forward because
Cream, stop.
check this out. This is wild.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't take your hand off the gun, you is going to get shot by this.
Parking lot. Stop.
I told you. I fucking told you.
Cream, stop.
No, bro.
So that video, he's about to run. I think here's part two. He's trying to get away. I think he was just trying to disarm her so he could get away. If I'm not mistaken, this is at the police station.
Parking lot. Employee parking lot. Help.
And it looks like she's gonna go in pursuit. That's insane. Now, what tripped me out about this is that, you know, we live in a crazy world. For those of you guys that are millennials, we live in a very, very, very crazy world. I'm not gonna make this a black women, black men thing. This is a police issue, okay? And the police already have been having a rough, very, very rough, very, very rough reputation since the 80s. I mean, leave it up to NWA. They told you exactly how they felt about the police. But I really believe that in law enforcement, it's crazy to me how a lawyer has to go through so much to be a lawyer. A doctor and a surgeon have to go through so much. If you look at most of these other career paths that affect lives, they really, really, really got to know their job. And it doesn't even mean that they don't make mistakes or they don't get convicted of anything or they don't break the law, they don't follow protocol, but they still have to go through so much to be in that position because of how much they can affect a life. I don't understand why it's not the same for law enforcement. That woman is crazy. Now, from what I've heard, I was trying to find, I had the information on what the woman's name was. From what I've heard, she was fired from her job, but there were no charges being pressed. And he is going to get charges put on him for assaulting an officer, which is wild. And he's currently in the hospital. I think he's in critical condition. He was hit, I believe, 2 times, and he's going to have a very painful recovery. we need to do better on all corners of the square. I mean, the politics in this country are crazy. The laws, as far as in law enforcement, is wild. The relationship between civilians and police is not the best. Now, don't get me wrong. For those that are in the suburbs, I'm pretty sure you guys are loving life, and I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's great. It's gravy out here. It's amazing. But for the rest of the country that don't got it like that or aren't living like that, it's quite different. It's quite different. Yes, it is. So I don't know. It's crazy to me that that these things are happening in this country. I don't know about you guys, but it's just been a different time, man. It really is. It's a different time in this community. This is the man right here in the hospital. It looks like he might be making a full recovery. Oh God, God willing, I hope he does. But we live in and this is all pertaining to gun violence. Gun violence isn't just violence, with people that are gangsters. And gun violence, that means police, that means security, all of that. We have a gun violence issue. And those of you guys that are a parent like me, you don't really get the sleep you used to get when you think about the fact that you have little ones, or that you got a teenager, or you got somebody in college. Speaking of college, there's some black colleges that are getting threats because of Charlie Kirk. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how to fix this, but I do know that there are a lot more sick people in this country than well people in this country. And I don't say that they're sick as in they're terrible. Some people are sick as far as in being terrible, but a lot of people are sick because they're misguided, they're traumatized, and it just doesn't seem like there's enough to sustain some peace. It's almost like the people that are living the most peaceful right now in these times are people that just have enough money to leave, go to another country, go countryside on their hundreds of thousands of acres that they own or that they bought. But for the rest of the people, for the people that got 9-to-5s, that got to go to work every day, the people that are entrepreneurs that put food on the table based off of how their businesses perform, it's a different mentality for us people. And it's scary. It's very scary. Your political views. It's weird because I grew up in the 90s, right? I was a child in the 90s, a baby in the 80s, right? And what interests me is, when you look at gang culture, since that was quite the conversation with a lot of conservatives and a lot of black conservatives, certain things that you were aligned with when it came to gangs put you in danger, especially if you were in LA, what neighborhood you were from, what color you wore. You automatically had a target on your back. And it's so ironic that now politics is starting to overshadow, in my opinion, gang culture. If you're a Democrat, you're in trouble if you're around a lot of Republicans. If you're a Republican, you might be in trouble around a lot of Democrats. I believe there was two Democrat I don't want to say representatives, politicians that were gunned down by somebody, and that hardly made any news. And it just, it turned into, of course, it turned into left versus right. But now when something happens to somebody that is aligned with the Republicans, the Democrats, they're blaming each other. It sounds so much, it's crazy because these groups keep talking about gun reform, right? One side wants to have more regulations on guns. One side wants to be able to have more guns. But it's even tearing the politicians and the political parties apart, completely apart. It's crazy. The politicians have now turned into the biggest gangsters. It's not the Bloods and Crips and GDs and O Block and all that other. It's not that anymore. I'm telling you right now, it's not. So you content creators, you guys can go out there all you want, for the ones that not really too fond of the black community. if you want, you guys can go out there and you can share your thoughts and you can continue to blame black folks for everything. And more power to you. I think there's more to the story than just black people are violent. I think there's more to the story than just black people are DEI hires and we're incompetent and inept at everything. It's starting to show itself that it's way bigger and way crazier than just trying to blame African Americans for everything. However, I do want to blame a black man for something that a lot of people are going to be upset about. And I want to blame this black man because of his behavior. Okay. This man's behavior was violent. This man's behavior was very, very threatening. And this man's behavior has actually brought him some success. That's right, Terrence Crawford. Yeah. Shout out to Terrence Crawford. For you guys that don't know, Terrence Crawford did beat Canelo Alvarez, which was a very, very, very good fight. The undercards wasn't so great. Okay. There was one undercard, I believe, dude from Cameroon, the Cameroon dude. That was a pretty good fight. You know, they was throwing some haymakers. But Bud Crawford has definitely made me a believer. Honestly, he made me a believer when I bet against him when he fought Spence. And he outboxed Spence. He had Spence looking like a hot link fresh off the grill. It's the first time I seen a black person turning orange and red. But shout out to you, brother Bud Crawford. You've definitely became one of my favorite boxers of this time. And you can definitely put him in the argument discussion in comparison to Mayweather. I know people have done that. I do believe that Terrence Crawford and Mayweather have a respect for each other, but Terrence Crawford is the greatest boxer of this era and of this time period. And he has nothing else to prove. Canelo, I respect how he accepted his loss, and I respect the fact that this was a good fight. They definitely put on a good fight, but shout out to Bud Crawford. Let me know what you guys think about the fight in the comments, but definitely let me know what you guys think about some of the topics that I covered as far as in Megyn Kelly's weird comments. I don't know how you blame Barack Obama for some things that happened with Charlie Kirk. It's crazy. And definitely let me know what you think about this whole drama with Charlie Kirk and the shooter. How do you feel about some of these black conservatives showing more energy instead of showing energy to this idiot right here? You know, a lot of them want to show energy towards people that look like me. Anyways, you've been tuning in to the Notion Podcast, Outlawed Opinions with your boy, Dizzy Dspill. Until next time, that's peace.